first time I was in Los Angeles about 15 years ago, I had asked somebody if they would take me to Stockton. And I know. I just and they were like, "Why?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't, is that history still a piece of that there? And what kind of,
It
I
is.
just wanted to go. And I didn't go. I nobody they didn't seem like they necessarily want to take me. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Is that is that history still rich in the Stockton area?
Very much so. And I would have to give a big nod to Master Joel Juanitas, who's the head of the original, not original. He's the head of the Bahana, or co-head with Master McCune, who's actually in the LA area, if I'm not mistaken. He might have moved out to like Arizona or something. I'm not sure, but they still have um, the lodge there for the Legionarios de Trabajo, which is the Legionarios de Trabajo. Sorry, pronunciation's terrible there, but are very much like Masons in terms of an organization, or Odd Fellows, or any one of those particular kind of fraternal organizations. My grandparents were part of that organization as well, right? So the Bahalana organization, the Haron Arnis system, and all that stuff is married in many ways to that organization, because Grandmaster Emeritus Leo Haron, uh, who was a World War II vet, fought against the Japanese during World War II, brought his Cinco Terre system to Stockton, was part of that formative period of Stockton Eskrima in the 1960s and 70s and 80s and on, right? Uh, uh, he was a senior member of the Legionarios de Trabajo. So that's the tradition is there. They have like a little Manila thing where what they do is they have like it's like a little display of the things that happen in one of the largest Filipino American communities in the United States. Not the oldest, but
Mhm.
definitely one of the largest. The oldest is actually, I believe, in North Carolina or South Carolina. I think North Carolina. So uh, that history is still there. There are still people there doing the art itself. I mean, so you find what you will find there for the most part is going to be Cerrada de Cuerdas and Largo Mono, Joron Arni system. That's what you're
Mhm.
going to find there. I think that there's some Balintawak people there. There's some people that are there for in the area, if we include Sacramento in there, that are Calis Illustrissima, which is not the same as Illustrissimo Cali, two different lineage lines, right? For the family of the Illustrissimo. You'll still find Villabro Cali in California, in the Bay Area. You'll still find a lot of those older traditions are still around. But the louder voices are modern Arnis, Dose Pares, and now Balintawak. Those are very loud voices, and the Calis Illustrissimo as opposed to the Illustrissimo Cali. But the traditions are there. The community is still there. My uncle Remy Estrella, he was one of the original Stockton Eskrima guys. He's still in Stockton, right? I don't know if Grandmaster Vincent is Stockton. Last time I talked to him, he was. I believe that Grandmaster Tabone is over there. Obviously, Master Juanitas is still there. So there's some people still keeping the song alive over there.
Mhm. That's amazing. Could you tell me a little bit about De Quertus?
So DeQuartis is really interesting. Like there's two different like if not three different stories there, right? Like is which DeQuartis are we talking about? Are we talking about Tino, Grandmaster Tino? Are we talking about the DeQuartis that's referred to by the Serrata people? Are you talking about Inay DeQuartis? It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
DeQuartis, there's Jerosa DeQuartis in the Philippines as well. So there's a lot of different styles that use DeQuartis. So we see this trend of this name, right? And then if it is coming, if we're talking about the Serrata lineage, then why is Lightning Scientific Arnis called Lightning Scientific Arnis when one of the main teachers for Lightning Scientific, Grandmaster Lima, I think is his name. He's a progenitor of that system. His teacher was Dazone, and supposedly Dazone is the one that called his style the Quertus, who taught it to Angel. But then why didn't Villabrel call his style the Quertus? Because he was also a protege of Dazone, at least for a short period of time. So it's interesting, like who's the Quertus we talking about, right? So
Yeah.
the Quertus under Grandmaster Tino. In that time, he was really known for his disarms, and I mean like in the 60s, just
Hmm.
at the forming or before the forming of the West Coast Eskrima Society. He was known for his disarms and his takedowns. He was a judo man or a jujitsu man as well. He was very well known for his hilot or his pressure point fighting
Hmm.
as well among the people that knew. In fact, I think that something to the effect is being told was said in my uncle Danny's book of like if he was to choose to teach things, there's a lot for him to teach, right? Which was to imply that there were some secrets there, right?
Hmm.
Having had an opportunity to work with some of his students and having some influence, the Nine System of Eskrima has some influence from Grandmaster Tino. Uh, that style is a very effective art. Uh, the people that are the proponents for that system really talk about like some very aggressive trapping and some sticky stick kind of techniques, would might be a useful term to use for your audience, right?
Okay.
That he shared a lot of those things. The people that you'd look for there, his last name is Saizon, Saizon, I think, is his last name, Grandmaster Saizon. And then there's politically not in the same crowd, not liked as Richard Von Donk, but he does teach under that name as well. And then the person that I probably have gotten outside of from my father and his student, my uncle Frank DeFanti, is James Murrow. Professor James Murrow, who's the head of the Goshin Jitsu Chahun Goshin Jitsu organization, which is a kosharu uh, Kempo organization from James Matosi. He also is somebody that holds a lot of knowledge when it comes to that lineage that's still around. He lives over in the Monterey, California area. And so there's some people out there that they teach that. Then you have the whisperings, if you will, or the outright curriculum of the Decortis from DAZN, according to what has been talked about in some of the recent books in the last 3 decades or whatever. And that's an aspect of Serrada Eskrima, right? And then you have my father's Decortis Eskrima, my family system, which is uh, a reinforced blocking system. So there's like different names for the styles, and people use them differently to mean different things. They talk about under Tino this idea that the cuerdas is the rope and the winding of the rope, right? So, which is to talk about like a different kind of striking and a different kind of binding with the opponent and things like that as a concept. What I've learned from one of my teachers recently, as far as someone who's vocalized it, is that uh, it's all in the basics,
Hmm.
and the basics are the secret.
Yes, sir.